The answer to that lies in an age-old winter pastime.
The Rion-Antirion Bridge has one thing in common with winter sports. They both involve moving freely, sliding.
Of course, tempting as it is,
I didn't come here to play in the snow. Just like a toboggan, the bridge piers have to slide freely over the sea floor, which is made of sand. But they don't slide well on sand because of their shape. To show you what I mean, this board is flat, like the bottom of the bridge pier.
yeah. Problem is, the leading edge is digging in, or towing in, as they say in the trade, and it won't go anywhere. That could have been a real problem for the Rion Bridge.
Sliding down a hill of loose sand is one thing, but does a pier on the flat seabed really have the same problem? I've got myself an accurate scale model of a bridge pier. Well, give or take a few hundred meters. It's currently being supported without a problem by this ultra-smooth track of fine sand. This time, to create the effect of the ground moving sideways or laterally, the role of the earthquake will be played by a 4x4. I've also brought along Ian Price, an expert in stabilising soils.
So even though we're not at the bottom of the sea, by any means, you reckon this is a good representation of what might happen 65 metres down?
Yeah, we're attempting to simulate that effect.
OK. Right, so I'm going to drive away, because this is a lateral force we're talking about.
It is.
So
we're talking about large lateral forces, Richard.
Yeah. Well, this is a large lateral force.
Well, I'm going to stand well clear.
OK, I'm going to create an earthquake. Start. Ah. My pier fell over. So this is the towing in you're talking about?
That's right, that's right.
Why did it fall, and why didn't it just keep following me?
Because the weight overcame the ability of the sand to support the structure.
In an earthquake, the piers of the Rion Bridge would be pushed sideways, like this. As it moves, the leading edge puts more pressure on the sand beneath it, until it's more than the sand can support. It digs or tows in, and then it topples over. Really not what you want. So the key is how much pressure from the leading edge a material can support. In winter sports, the solution is simple. Take away the leading edge altogether. Make your skis, snowboard or toboggan curl up at the front. That's fine for a toboggan, but making mammoth pier bases that curl up like giant sleds would be virtually impossible to construct. They needed another solution. The one they chose was extreme. Rather than change the shape of the piers, they decided to change the surface of the seabed. For their solution, the bridge engineers needed to understand why you tow in to soft material.
I've got to ask, why is there a paddling pool full of what appears to be mashed potato?
Well, this demonstrates what the engineers found on the site of the Rion-Antirion Bridge. What we have there is silts and clays, which are very, very soft, very analogous to mashed potato, and there is no way sands will support the weight of a structure. Just try it yourself, Richard.
What?
See if...
Get in.
Yeah, why not?
All right, fair enough. This is not something I've done before. Right, so I'm the bridge. Oh, clearly, yeah. Mashed potato isn't going to be up to the job.
Yeah, mash is obviously too soft to support me. But there is a way that exactly the same stuff can support more pressure.
These, then, are just potatoes.
They are.
And they work perfectly. They'll support me. So, obviously those potatoes are mashed and these aren't, but there's still a paddling pool full of potatoes. What's the difference? Why does this work and that doesn't?
The difference is particle size. Potatoes are a larger particle size, and consequently you get increased bearing resistance.
So just the bigger particle size, same material actually, but smaller particles of it over there and I sink down through them, bigger particles here and they can hold up more weight.
That's right.
So the answer to the bridge builder's problems then was potato.
Well, not exactly potatoes, but a larger particle size, gravel.
So, gravel was just what the engineers needed. Instead of changing the shape of the piers to make them curl up at the edges, they changed the seabed with a layer of gravel. A huge job. I'm going to create another 4x4 earthquake and put the pier on a gravel base. It should support the leading edge so it won't toe in and fall over.
So the only change this time is we replace the sand with gravel.
Yes.
And this will make all the difference.
Yes.
You reckon?
I think so.
I'm going to bring on an earthquake. Stand back. That made all the difference.
It did.
So it does work. Clearly then the answer for the engineers was to build their bridge on unmashed potatoes. Well, no, gravel.
At the bottom of the Gulf of Corinth, the Rion Bridge rests on a thick layer of gravel above the steel rods. This allows the bridge piers to slide from side to side without digging or towing in. They used enough gravel on the seabed beneath the Rion Antirion Bridge to cover 2 football pitches, 3 meters deep.
These massive piers are amazing. They stand strong, but without being fixed to the seabed, so they can move and withstand earthquakes. And they are massive, 90 meters across at the base, the biggest in the world. So, all the engineers had to do now was link these super piers together, and they built themselves a bridge. Simple.